Houston, Texas, world. Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, worldwide, welcome to the Breakx Grand Jam Media Day Press Conference. How are you feeling? We got a live audience here for the top 8 B-Boy and B-Girl battles. If you're tuning in at home or if you're here with us here in Houston, Texas, make some noise right now. Thank you guys for joining us on this special occasion, whether you're a new fan or you're a supporter, you've been with us. If you didn't see yesterday's live stream for day one, wow, fire upon fire, flames upon flames. From open preliminary rounds, over 200 competitors competed to comprise a top 32 for the B-Boy and a top 8 for the B-Girl. Yesterday, the top 32 was whittled down to the top 8, and we have the final global championship round today. And the matchups are set. The stakes are high. There is $13,500 on the line. This is the second global breaking championship event of the year. If you guys didn't see Space City back in February, you know of the storyline that's being built with the Break Free Worldwide Global Breaking Championship Series, and we're here rocking live in Houston, Texas. Everybody is ready. The vibes are insane. The stakes are high. But before we go into that today, if you guys saw what we did at Space City with the press conference, introducing that to our scene and our culture for the first time, we want to give a voice to the talent and the artists that you see pour out what they pour out on the floor day in and day out in all these events of which they compete at year after year. If you put a microphone in the hands of a B-boy or a B-girl, some funny stuff can happen, some magical stuff can happen, and it really is just cool to hear voices being tied behind these styles and everything that you've seen be built up in these legacies over these years. So this is what the press conference is. We'll have all the matchups come up to the stage and be able to share their thoughts, how they're feeling, share some strategies, how they feel about their opponents, of course, and it really is a cool thing to get the insight and see what the vibes and the style is behind the moves of what you see on the floor. So again, if you did not see day one and you didn't see all the action and everything that led up to this moment, to the press conference, and this leading up into the main event tonight, please go back and tune in. We're going live at 5 p.m. CST for the top 8 B-Boy and B-Girl battle, and by 8 p.m. CST, we'll have a global break-in champion crowned for the first ever Breakx Grand Jam 2021. But let's get into it. Are y'all ready to meet the competitors? Make some noise. To the stage, let me get Gabo, Palmer, Levix, and Gravity. Competitors are making their way to the stage. We got DJ Fresco on the 1s and 2s. Palmer taking the first seat. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for our first group of competitors. Make some noise. Give it up. Give it up. So I'm going to get right into it. On the B-Boy side, we actually have a matchup, a rematch from Space City Classic. Gravity versus Palmer. And outside of Space City Classic, these guys have been battling for so long in their own right, but I know they have a legacy built in the storyline. This is not the first or second or third. This is the 9th or 10th. I don't even know, but they've been battling for so many years. And in this year, this being a matchup, I just want to toss it over to Gravity first. Gravity, first of all, how does it feel, you know, somebody battling against somebody like Palmer, this being the second rematch, the second match of the year for you? What is it like when you go up against Palmer?
I check. Yo, going against Palmer is always it's always a dangerous thing, you know, because his approach is very different and his attack is very is well articulated. So through his style. So for me, it's like my approach is just again against myself. So as long as I come correct with myself, I always feel like I will do what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to somebody like Palmer, it's always very exciting because the conversation is not a conversation. I don't speak that language, so when I do converse against somebody like that, I don't move like that. So when I have to, it's a challenge. But you know, if I could prevail, then it's a good day.
Palmer, for Space City Classic, it was in the semifinals, and Gravity ended up taking that one. But same question, how do you feel going up against Gravity? He shared some thoughts about maybe the stylistic differences, but how do you feel going into the second matchup of the year against Grav?
To Space City, I remember the first, he went out first, right? And he did this crazy, like, half twist to, like, chair freeze, like, right in front of me. And I think it was like Nels and Doug. They were right there on the side. I looked at him. I was like, oh, man, that was crazy, dude. So it's like that every time you battle him, man. You already know that there's going to be some crazy stuff thrown at you. You're going to have to bring your A game all the time. His energy is super high level. And just to things that I've noticed about him, I know that, you know, us as artists and us as, you know, athletes as well, too, you know, we try and up our game all the time, right? And what I've seen from him is that he's definitely working on all of his weaknesses when it comes to this dance, and he's really been killing it these last jams. So I mean, I just, you know, give props to him. And I mean, yeah, for sure, man. And you know, but just going back to the battle, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be fire all the time between him. I love his energy. I got mad respect for him.
What about the 3 rounds each? So y'all did 2 rounds in the top 16. This is 3 rounds for the top 8. Do y'all prefer this long round format, and do y'all think it gives y'all advantage considering who you're going against? What can y'all say about the 3 rounds each?
Yeah. I mean, I like 3 rounds. I feel like I get better as it goes on. Sometimes that first round is, you know, kind of iffy for a lot of B-boys and B-girls. You got to get them jitters out, especially, you know, since it's going to be the first B-boy battle. So I'm kind of, for me personally, I'm kind of glad it's 3 rounds because, you know, I can get into the pocket and get into that, you know, that flow state.
Yeah. Come on, man, Mike. All right. 3 rounds is always dope, man, especially like early on. I think 1 round, 2 rounds is not enough. You have to like kind of get warm, like he said, kind of get into that pocket. So I'm kind of excited because I like to play strategies. Like I like to play chess when I battle. So this will be a lot of fun.
Nice. There you have it, Gravity and Palmer. What is the volume of this? I know it's the second one this year, but can y'all guess how many times y'all have actually battled each other?
It's up there. I mean, even considering like the 2-on-2s and 3-on-3s, it's been a lot. Let's just say a lot. Yeah.
1-on-1s, maybe this would be like the 3rd time maybe. Yeah. But crew, I mean, for years. Yeah. For years.
Nice. Awesome. Going over to the B-girl side, we got Lavix versus Gabo. Crazy. So I want to go to Lavix first. Lavix, you're coming into Houston, Texas. This is Gabo's hometown. I don't know if this is your first time coming to a Houston Jam, actually, but it would be great to open up, like, how do you feel coming into Houston and in Houston culture at Breakx and vibing out for the first time, considering COVID-19 pandemic and everything? How are you feeling going in today?
I'm feeling pretty good. This isn't my first time coming to Houston. I've been here a couple times for B-Girl City, and I really love the scene here. So I feel pretty good. And this is probably one of the first times I've seen Gabo dance, so I'm pretty excited for the battle.
Awesome. And Gabo, you being the hometown hero, holding it down in Houston, Texas, Ill Milf's crew, helping with B-Girl City as well too. What can you say to Lavix and everybody watching? Like, do you want to represent for Houston and putting that on the line here at Breakx in the hometown?
Definitely, I do want to rep for the moms out there. That's like my main goal. I have 2 kids, so this is me following my passion after having kids. So definitely, you know, I've always wanted to be in the front line, you know, with the girls, repping Houston and repping Texas in general, my state for sure.
Awesome. It's such an amazing thing to, you know, Ill Mills crew. That's a awesome crew name, but for you to be a mother.
Doesn't mean what it means.
But for you to be a mother doing this, it's such an inspiration. And it's awesome to see you, again, in the top 8 qualifying and on the Houston stage on one of the biggest global stages. So I can't wait to see it. And Lavix, you mentioned that this is some of the first time you've seen Gabo dance. But what can y'all say about each other's styles? If you were able to catch your prelim round yesterday, and how do you feel going up? How do you think that matchup, is it even? What do y'all think going into the battle against each other, and what's your strategies?
My memory's not very good, but I feel like I'm just gonna do me, and that's basically my strategy for most of the battles. Is I can't think too much about what the other person's doing, and just basically be confident in what I'm doing.
And Gabo?
Seeing that she's been breaking longer than I have, so I'm definitely gonna, you know, I'm against myself. So definitely, I think we have, she has mad flavors, so I'm excited for this because I love to like dance to the music, so I feel like this is a really good matchup.
Awesome, can't wait to see it. There you have it, the first battle of the B-Girl bracket. We have Lavix versus Gabo. Make some noise, y'all. Give it up for these 4 competitors. And for the photo opportunity, can I get first Palmer and Gravity to the stage? Kicking off the B-Boy brackets. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Palmer versus Gravity. Guaranteed to be a slobber knocker. Look it up. Google it. It's going to leave you flabbergasted. And kicking off the B-Girl bracket, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Gabo versus Lavix. Breakx Grand Jam 2021. What an awesome way to kick off both the B-Boy and B-Girl bracket. Moving along, for our second group, can we get G-Lu, Isaiah, Melissa, and D-Tex? DJ Fresco on the 1s and 2s. All right, all right. It's interesting to see on both sides of the bracket. We got on the B-Boy side 2 of Houston's leaders in the new generation, and on the B-Girl side, we got overseas talent here in Houston, Texas. Melissa, of course, resides in the United States, but I think it's very interesting to see when we get the Global Breaking Championship and we open it up for the world to come, you get such an eclectic mix and a melting pot of different cultures and different representations from around the world. So it's an awesome thing to see with this particular group right now. But to kick off with the B-Girls first, I want to go over to G-Lu. G-Lu, you coming from Space City as well, you're familiar with the press conference and the Breakthrough Worldwide Global Championship Series, and you're actually tied in first place for on the Worldwide Breakfree Worldwide Championship Leaderboard Series. So you, of course, qualifying for the top 8 are going to accumulate more and more points, but we're looking forward to seeing you continue to rep on this stage. But how are you feeling? What is your strategy going in tonight against Melissa?
I feel great, to be honest. My strategy is I don't really feel like I'm battling her. I feel like I'm trying to go in with the same strategy like last time. I went for the MVP. I'm going for the MVP today. So I just want to be me, and I don't think she can be better in being me than me. So.
Melissa, she said you can't be me, but you can be me, Lisa. So Melissa, this is your first time on the Break Free Worldwide stage and this year for our Global Breaking Championship Series. So I guess 2 questions. How does it feel breaking on this platform, in this environment, in this jam for the first time this year? And then second, how do you feel going against a global competitor in the scene like G-Lu?
I feel breaking. I'm always ready to break, but speak right now. I feel nervous. And I'm ready to break, and I'm agree with Jilu that my Google Translator worked really bad.
Just speak like you're speaking to your kid.
Make them Google Translate. You don't have to Google Translate. Make them do it.
I'm ready to battle, and I'm gonna do my best. I will be me, and as she said, like I'm a champ in what I am do, and I want everyone to feel the same way. We all champions because we are the we are. No one can be me, and no one can beat me. Just me. And
wow.
I will fight. Like I'm a fighter. I like to fight. I like compete. It's I feel this fire inside of me, and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fight, and then it's up to judges. But I'm gonna fight. I will do my best.
Well, please, this is a dance battle, Melissa. Please don't fight, Jilu. Please don't fight her. No, it's really awesome to hear both perspectives, because I think that perspective of like I'm here to be the best version of myself. That's what breaking is. Like as everybody knows, and even if you're not a breaker, I think you can tell that this dance is about being original. This dance is about being yourself. And when you hear everybody come up and these artists speak, everyone's going to say that in their own words, in their own versions, and then they're going to dance that way and speak that on the floor. So, but at the end of the day, when it comes to a battle, that's the unique and challenging thing about what we do, is you do have an individual style and you do have another individual style, but there's a decision that has to be made by a judge, and there's those little details that factor in, and at the end of the day, that could be the things and the minor details that separates and makes somebody point one way or another, or the dancer advance from that point on. So the second question is, considering like the stylistic differences you guys have, what would you say is like a minor detail you think that can take you into the next round, something that you can focus on, and like even not against somebody in particular, but what is a particular strategy or detail that you have been focusing on lately, Jilu, you think that can help you in these battles?
Oh. Damn, deep question. It's a little too early for that, but well, lately I've been trying to bring more the side of me out that I usually just show in intimate circles. And I try to show this kind of intimacy to the public, which is difficult. It's a little battle to myself, but I'm enjoying myself way more lately than I did the years before, and I think that's my strategy. And at the other side, I have a lot of things that she can't do, so that's the other side of the strategy.
Okay.
Melissa, what are some minor details you think that you focus on, or some things that you think separates you from your competitor, your opponent?
It's a DJ, it's a music. I'm really count on music. It's depend of music. If I feel like really feel, oh, I will do my best. Like, and no one can beat me because I feel the music. But please play good music.
I would not threat the DJ.
Let's
okay?
go.
Yeah, and about details, like I have what Jilu don't have. I have flow. Like she do, I can see like she cut her moves, but I have flow. Like, and this is what is gonna interesting to see, like compare like each other, because we're really different. And I wanna see this battle, and I've been losing her a lot of times. And I'm ready. I'm hungry. Let's do it again. Let's go.
There you have it, y'all. Melissa says she got the flow. She's ready. She's ready to fight. There you have it, guys. The second battle, Jilu versus Melissa. Going over to the B-boy side, we got D-Tex versus Isaiah. Shun Murda versus Havoc Coral. Two of Houston's leaders of the new generation. So I want to base the first question off of that. So I want to go over to D-Tex first. D-Tex, your opponent is somebody who's also a Texas B-boy. And I know you take deep pride in being a Texas B-boy, right? So going against somebody who is also like neck and neck and carrying the torch for the next generation of Texas, how important is that, do you think, coming into this battle?
I mean, to be honest, for me, whoever makes it, as long as they get to represent Texas, right? For me, it's not about me. I'm past Sean Murda and Masters of Mayhem. I'm past my crews. I'm all over Texas, wherever I go. I represent Texas because it's my state. You know, being a Hispanic, Latino American, I have to prove that I have to be more American than the Americans and more Mexican than the Mexicans. So for me, it's about the people. It's not about me. So coming into Isaiah,
Awesome.
makes it.
That's the reason. Yes, sir. And for Isaiah, I know you guys have crossed paths at local jams and different capacities before, but this is the biggest stage, I think. I think the stakes are the highest. So how do you feel going against Isaiah? What can you say about Isaiah, as he's been somebody, I think y'all around the same age, and again, representing Texas. How do you feel going against somebody like Have a Choral Crew, Isaiah, and you being a Texas B-boy?
To be honest, since I started in the game, I never really understood the whole big names and everything, because I grew up from not understanding English when I grew up. So I never got to be that concept of like, oh, those are the big guys. I never came up with that concept because I was like, oh, those are the guys I got to beat, but I got to put in work. So coming in with Isaiah is just, I'm proud of him, you know. I've seen him grow lately. You know, we're in the same route. We're trying to be the best of us. And I got nothing bad to say about him except for my mad love, you know. I'm proud of him.
Appreciate it, homie.
And Isaiah, same question as far as like representing for Texas on one of the biggest stage in Texas. How important is it you coming into the battle again against someone like D-Tex, who I feel, and I know a lot of people feel like you guys are carrying the torch for Texas tradition and Texas breaking?
Yeah, honestly, I think last night me and D-Tex both hit an accomplishment just because, one, we work together and represent Break Free, and we do our best to lead by example. So for us to make top 8 out of over 100 other competitors, you know, that itself was an accomplishment. And I know I take pride in that. I know he takes pride in that, you know, and, you know, whoever comes out on top, I know me and him are just going to do our thing. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. But, you know, I have mad love for him, too. I remember watching him when I was probably like 16, 17, you know, and since he's been working with us at Break Free, like, me and him motivate each other all the time. We practice all the time. So I got no animosity towards him. I got nothing but love for D-Tex, so I'm actually really, really hyped for this battle.
I think it's great you brought up Break Free and you guys teaching there as well. It reminded me of a moment from the preliminary rounds where one of your students, Emily, came and killed it. I think a lot of people remember her rounds, and she's actually been breaking for like under a year, right? And D-Tex, I think you've dealt with Emily and taught her some things as well. So it'd be great to hear outside of the battle some insight on that. Like, and D-Tex, you might have some students in the building today who are watching you, and how important do you think is that as far as setting examples, and not even in the sense of like I don't know, professionalism or whatever, but like representing hard on the floor. Like whenever you go out, you guys being teachers, the students, do y'all think it's important to set that example on the floor as far as like, this is what breaking is and this is how to battle?
It is really important to set the example, because if we don't teach the next generation right, they're not gonna grow up to be with that foundation. They're not gonna be able to, they're gonna be walking blinded like I did. I didn't have nobody to teach me what to do, how to do it. I had to figure it out on my own. So for me, setting the example for somebody else is like the best thing I can do. I'm gonna give my heart out. It's not about being the best. It's about being the best for them, you know. They get to see what I do, and hopefully they can grab something and see that it is more than dancing. You don't just conquer the battles as you go. You conquer, you know, life. You know, you get to experience, you know, judges watching you, the crowd watching you, people trying to put you down because, oh, they got to prove that they're better than you. I'm not here to prove against anybody. I'm just here to prove that I come from nothing, and if I can do it, they can do it too.
And Isaiah, how important do you think that is, you know, being a teacher to so many and them being in the building to watch you battle against another teacher on that hand?
I mean, honestly, like I said before, we just lead by example, you know. I think we teach the students. Shout out to all the Break Free students, my boom bap, my beginner, my intermediate. You guys are awesome. But yeah, we just lead by example. And so for me to see them grow up, you know, and be able to step out on the floor like Emily yesterday, like she was nervous. She's never been to a jam this size, you know, and she was very, very nervous. And at the end, when Jeremy said last-minute signups, I asked her, and she said yes, you know. But you know, she went out there and killed it. She made a name for herself. As for all my other students who are future coming up, you know, so just to see students grow is a really proud moment for me. Just because, you know, the advice and the teachings, everything that I pour into them, to see it blossom is just it's a story within itself, and they're making their own story. So and they're there to break free. They're there to do their thing, and just watch them just represent themselves and build up that courage, build up that bravery, you know. So to practice is one thing, but once you step in a circle like that at 11 years old, man, you're already way ahead of the game, you know. So you know, shout out to all the Break Free students again. So I'm just proud to do what I love, you know, and this is what I love to do, and I'm gonna leave it out on the floor all the time.
You know, I think this battle between you two is a perfect example of, like, if you're coming into breaking, watching this for the first time, you may think that, like, rivalries and, like, anger might fuel battles and make cool battles, but also, like, on the opposite side of that, love for each other and respect can also make really good battles. And I know for sure when it comes to Isaiah and D, there's mutual respect, there's mutual love. But I also know for sure that when it comes down time to the battle, it's going to be heat and it's going to be fire. And I think this battle represents that perfectly. So make some noise for that second battle of the B-Boy bracket, yo. For the photo op, can I get Gilu and Melissa? The fight. Someone's ready to fight. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Gilu and Melissa. Top 8. Give it up, y'all. Make some noise. And the second battle of the top 8. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for D-Tex versus Isaiah. Two of Break Free's teachers. Head to head, 3 rounds each. Make some noise for our second group of competitors. Halfway through the top 8 for each. To the stage, can I get Doug, Ali, and Rascal Randy? And if Kami is in the building, Kami as well. DJ Fresco on the 1s and 2s. Doug versus Ali and Rascal Randy versus Kami. All right. So we're on the second side of the bracket for both the B-Boy and B-Girl battles. Starting with the B-Boy side, we got Doug versus Ali. If I can start it off and kind of give my personal advice on what I feel about this matchup, I think you have two very technical styles. Two technical styles in their own different rights, right? Like, I think with Doug, you have such a powerful power move oriented style, but also that power is translated when he comes to his footwork. And then with Ali, flow is crazy. The connections and patterns are something that you really have to understand, like the language of breaking, to know what Ali is doing. So considering that, do you guys think that's accurate? And what do y'all think as far as your opinion on each other's styles and how you feel going into this matchup? Let's start with Doug first.
Well, I've seen a few videos of Ali, and I think he's pretty dope, to be honest, man. Like, shout outs to him. But I'm not really worried about the battle, man. I just want to feel myself. I want to perform the best that I can, because I've never been able to be on a stage like this. So I just want to use this opportunity for myself. I'm not really worried about what he's going to do. Man, I hope he kills it. But I just know that I'm gonna kill it, and that's what I'm here to do.
Yes, sir. Doug, how old are you? Can you let everybody know how old you are?
I'm 17, but I turned 18 this August.
Oh, that's an important note. Let them know when you turn 18. 17 years old, that's crazy. And how long have you been breaking, Doug?
I started when I was 10, so about to be 8 years.
8 years, wow, that's crazy. And kind of just going off of that, Ali, how long have you been breaking?
I've been breaking for 19 years.
19 years, wow. Pretty much longer than Douglas has been alive.
Pretty much, yeah.
So considering that, Ali, I know you have experience on stages like this, man, and Doug shared that he's excited for this being, you know, one of the first time he's on a platform like this. But do you think that factors into the battle? You think that kind of gives you an edge as far as experience, or does that not even go into like your approach to the battle?
To be honest, I think it's just anyone's day, you know. I think, I mean, we've seen battles where there's more experienced B-boys but still lose regardless, you know, just whoever's on that day, that's what it's going to come down to, basically.
Definitely, yes. Those are those little details I think that edge people out at the end of the day. And as far as Doug specifically, like, you know, I mentioned my opinion about, you know, the stylistic techniques that you guys possess, but from what you've seen with Doug, what do you think you guys are similar with, or what do you think some things that, you know, separates you two, and how that factors into the battle that you guys have with 3 rounds each?
Yeah, so I think you're right. He has really powerful style. I do try to incorporate power as well, but I try to make it my own, you know, transition-wise, flows, patterns. Just try to switch it up, you know, just not look like anyone else. As far as 3 rounds, yeah, I mean, that's, it's gonna, you know, like, it's always good to have more than just 1 round, because 1 round doesn't really show what you really got. So I think 3 rounds it's good for me anyways, to kind of show, you know, the flow and pretty much everything that I got, basically.
Great. And Doug, what do you think when you go into this battle, relating it to Ali, what are you focusing on as far as strategy and approach? Or are you taking more just a general, like, I want to kill it, I'm gonna let the music take over? Or do you do some analysis of Ali's style and be like, okay, I know this is what I need to do in order to edge it out? What type of approach do you have?
Yeah, I mean, like he said, he has pretty like good transitions. He has a decent amount of power. Everybody knows me for power, so I'm definitely gonna see me throw some power. But yeah, I'm not really worried, man. I'm not worried about what he's gonna do. I wanna go off. Like, I just wanna have a dope moment, and if I win, I win. And if I get to the semifinals, it is what it is. But I'm just trying to kill it. It's not really about, oh, I'm gonna strategize against his style. And for 3 rounds, man, I did survival, and that's hard. That jam is hard, so I'm not really worried about 3 rounds.
Ali, what would you say approach-wise, strategy? Do you take kind of a detailed one, or it's just let things take over, let it flow?
Yeah, just let it flow. Just kind of whatever happens.
Nice. This is one of my personal favorite matchups of the first round. It's, again, technical versus technical. I think, again, if you understand the language of breaking, and even if you don't, you're going to see some amazing moments. But the stage is set for that second half of the bracket. Doug versus Ali, y'all. Make some noise. Give it up. And then on the B-girl side, we got Rascal Randy versus Kami. Kami is represented for France, and unfortunately, Kami can't make it today for the press conference. She definitely will be ready and up for the battle when it comes to the championship time in the broadcast. But we have Randy here in the building today. So, Randy, I just want to open it up with a general question. You participated at Space City. This is your 2nd event. You also have points on the leaderboard, and you're accumulating it. So, how do you feel going into this battle, just in general? What is your approach, and what are your feelings coming into this Sunday Global Championship?
I think my approach is the same as last time, and the same as pretty much what everybody's saying, but to really be myself. I know I'm familiar with Kami, never in person, but via videos, and I just don't want to get sucked into her game. I dance a little different, and so I want to make sure that I uphold that. And
with your performance at Space City, you actually lost in the first round. It was against Jilu, but from what I remember, you had set it off that night, and that was one of the illest battles, I think, of the B-girl, or just any of the battles that night. And I think your style is really powerful, and I think you woke people up as far as that day in Space City. So do you think whenever you approach battles, do you have like more of an emphasis on the music, or more emphasis on this? What do you look for to create that pop, or like waking people up in the crowd and getting them in tune with your energy?
Absolutely. I'm not a set B-girl, and so the music does influence a lot. The energy in the room influences a lot, and I think I'm able, because I'm not a set B-girl, I'm able to be present in the moment and make like quick decisions and answer. And I think that gives me an edge over somebody that's like well prepared, but maybe a little less in tune with what's happening.
Awesome. And I know you mentioned you're just familiar with Kami over videos, but what can you say about your opponent, Kami, and how you're approaching that coming into this battle?
Man, I know she likes yellow. I know she likes Pikachu. Like, I think, you know, she's been on big stages. She knows how to handle pressure. So I just have to stay calm, stay in my zone, and answer her back.
There you have it, guys. Kami versus Rascal Randy. Make some noise. And to the front of the stage, let me get Doug and Ali for the third battle of the B-Boy bracket. 3 rounds each. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Doug versus Ali. Breakx Grand Jam 2021. Battle of the Technical Styles. Give it up for Doug and Ali, y'all. Make some noise. So, how you guys feeling out there? Are y'all ready for these battles in the championship round tonight? Make some noise. We still got one more group left, so to the stage, can I get Logistics, Michiko, and Jeffro? Jeffro's opponent, Thesis, could not make it to the press conference. DJ Fresco on the 1s and 2s. All right. So, on that second side of the bracket, the last battles, the last rounds, really heavily evenly matched, I feel, on both sides. But let's start with the B-girls. We got Logistics versus Michiko. We got the West Coast representative, Underground Flow, residing and representing for Break and MIA in Miami now. Logistics versus Houston, Texas, very own Michiko. I want to go over to Michiko first. Kind of in the same context as what we were talking about with Gabo earlier. This is your hometown. You know, this is you representing for Houston and for Texas. And you are going against somebody that is a global competitor, that is one of the leading artists in the scene today. And if people were looking at it from the surface, it is underdog, right? So how do you feel, you know, if there's any type of noise like that, or if you've even thought like that, how do you feel coming in representing for Houston and Texas on a stage like this against someone experienced like Logistics?
Well, I'm definitely excited to be representing Houston in Houston. You know, I was born and raised here. And I'm excited to be going against Logistics. It's definitely a battle I've wanted to do for a long time. It's not often I get to go against another B-girl that can go toe-to-toe with me when it comes to all the acrobatics and the explosive elements. So that's definitely going to force me to be a lot more well-rounded in the battles. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
And you mentioned you do have an extensive gymnastics background, right?
Yep, 14 years. Yeah, so I went and I was an elite gymnast for a couple years.
Can you speak on that? Because especially for the general public, I think there's a lot of parallels drawn between gymnastics and breaking, right? But I think, to put it simply, the deciding factor, or the what separates it, is the music and the artistic, the craft form of it. So on your journey from learning from the gymnastics background into being a breaker, how has that been for you, and what would you say for people who do have gymnastics background? Like we had Gravity on the stage earlier, who also has a similar story. So I would love to hear your perspective on that, coming from a gymnast to a breaker.
Well, with gymnastics, it's definitely very strict. You're working on perfecting specific motions and being the best. You're constantly just trying to achieve perfection. And when you go and you compete, it's much more in a controlled environment. There aren't many variables that are out of your control. When it comes to breaking, definitely music plays a factor. You never can you control what someone else does. You can only focus on yourself, but you can definitely never control what the other person's doing in a battle, because you don't know what they're going to do. You never know what they're going to bring out. You never know how they're going to respond to music. You don't know if a floor is going to be different than you want it to be. You don't know if lighting is going to be different. You have to react, and you have to be a lot more present. In gymnastics, you tend to just let muscle memory take over, and you just tune out. With breaking, it's definitely a completely different experience. So it's definitely fun.
Awesome. Thank you, Michiko. Make some noise, y'all. Give it up. It's really awesome to see a multidisciplinary artist, and even though there is parallels between breaking and gymnastics, it really is cool to see that crossover. And you'll see that tonight in Michiko's dance. You'll see, you know, that background or whatever it may be, but you also see how she's taken that in true breaking fashion, what this culture is all about, taking it and flipped it and made it her own, right? So logistics. You were present at Space City, our first event of the year, right? But as a spectator. And you, along with the whole like Breaking MIA fam, like y'all really contributed a lot of dope energy to Space City. And I saw you vibing out, and like, if you look back in the footage, along with the rest of the Breaking MIA fam, you were like going hype on the side the whole time. And I think you were also like itching to battle, maybe. So first question would be like, does it feel good to come out and actually dance on this stage in the Break Free universe? And how are you feeling coming into maybe one of the first battles on the stage that you've done in a while?
Yeah, so I was at Space City Classic, and I got to see Zaku take the win and just be there with the Breaking MIA fam. And it was dope to be with people closer to my age versus my crew and Rebel, which are people a lot older than me. So yeah, I've been extremely inspired recently with training, especially with the boys that I'm able to train with at Breaking MIA. I'm really excited to dance. Like, it's been a while since I've been on like more of a higher class battle like this. I've been doing more local battles recently, which I feel is like perfect practice for me to just come in with that type of energy. So yeah, I'm really excited.
And kind of in the same fashion, like being a multi-disciplinary artist, you come from an extensive like modern dance choreo background, right? So it would be great to kind of hear your opinion on, you know, you shared your influence from Breaking MIA and Breaking MIA being strictly focused on breaking. I know you lead an all styles in the choreo class there, right? But I would love to hear kind of how that has translated for you, and how are you looking to bridge the gap and use your experience there onto a stage like this that is focused on global breaking and breaking itself.
You're saying bridging the gap between like choreo breaking and that type of thing? Oh. That's always been a thing for me. Like, I never chose to like want to bridge those gaps, but just like Michiko with gymnastics, I found myself equally as passionate with both, and it's always been like a really difficult balance. So, but that's such a challenge for me that I actually enjoy, and I'm thankful to have people around me that support me in choreo as well as breaking, just like with being able to teach at Breaking MIA. So. Yeah, I just hope to bridge those communities, because I want people from different worlds to understand each other, so we can just unite as artists instead of be so divided. And that's honestly my goal with anything. So yeah, whether I'm repping on the battle floor, teaching a class, performing on stage, I'm going to continue to do me and connect those dots and build those bridges so that we can continue to work together.
For sure. And what can you say, I mentioned it earlier, but I guess on the surface, Michiko, you know, being a Houston breaker and this being one of the first times on a stage like this, like the term underdog or whatever, but how do you feel going against Michiko in her hometown representing, and this being one of her first times on a big stage like this?
It reminds me of when I did Silverback in 2018, because at that time I felt more of an underdog, and I had like, I guess, USA behind my back. But I'm not that nervous to go against Michiko, her being in her hometown. If anything, I'm just excited for the matchup and excited to battle again, and then obviously go hard.
I think it's another example, like as I mentioned earlier with D-Tex and Isaiah, there's a lot of mutual respect between y'all two and a lot of love, but I know y'all as artists and also as humans, and I know that when it comes down to battle time is going to be some fire. So Michiko versus Logistics, y'all. Make some noise. Give it up. And the last battle of the B-Boy bracket. Unfortunately, we don't have Thesis with us here currently, but we got Jeffro versus Thesis.
Yep.
Jeffro, as you guys know, was at Space City Classic. And my first question, of course, to you, Jeffro, is riding off that momentum from Space City where you made a lot of noise, and people was like, yes. They're expecting you to deliver after all that noise and everything from there. So what can you say about Breakx Grand Jam? You had a really dope and consistent performance. We'll put you in the top 8 today, but how do you look to ride that momentum and that wave from Space City?
I mean, I'm not really focused on what happened at the last jam. I'm just here just trying to do it again, but in a different way. What you say? I'm just trying to torch people. That's it. That's my only goal.
And I don't know if you've ever battled Thesis before. Has it ever been in a one-on-one?
Never.
And this being the first time, Thesis is a global competitor, right? And I think a lot of people are excited to see this matchup. Thesis being an experienced competitor. So what can you say going against an artist like Thesis who's experienced and, of course, like at a world-class level?
Yeah, no, it's going to be different for sure because usually if I go against anybody, I think the battle is usually like, okay, I'm really going against moves. I'm not really going against somebody that could dance. So now that I'm going against Thesis, I'm like, okay, now I actually get to have a quote-unquote exchange. Because people, they say, oh, it's a great exchange. But I'm like, it's not really exchange. It's just move for moves. But now I'm like, okay, this is actually going to be exchange. Because then he's musically inclined, like with the music. So am I. So now we're actually going to have a vibe. We're going to have a battle. It's going to be a great battle. And I'm just, looking forward to see what's going to happen.
And what do you think, you mentioned a similarity, like both of you guys being musically inclined, which I definitely agree with, but what would you, in your opinion, think separates you two? Like, what is the differences between y'all?
I mean, it's plain in sight. You could just watch the footage. If you see him, you're going to see the difference in his movement. My movement is different. It could be generational, the reason why. But, I mean, we just move different. I don't really have an answer for that. We just move different.
And last question, what would be, you can summarize your approach, like whenever you go into battles. Has it maybe changed over the years, or what is, in 2021, Jeffro's approach to battles?
I can't give out that secret.
Can you give us a little something?
It's Jeremy.
You drinking a sleepy tea last night, is that what it is?
Hey, quick story. So I was drinking that sleepy tea. I woke up at 4 in the morning. I don't know why. I'm kind of mad. But I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to take a nap, though. But that's a secret.
That's a secret, naps.
Secret tea.
Make some noise for Jeffro, y'all. Give it up. To the stage, on the B-Girl side, can I get Logistics and Michiko? Last battle of the B-Girl brackets, 3 rounds each. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Logistics versus Michiko. There you have it. Thank you. Jeffro, no, yeah, me and you, what's up? Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Jeffro. Good luck, brother. And there you have it, folks. That is the press conference media day. We are coming back live at 5 p.m. CST, so be sure to tune in. Follow us on Break Free Worldwide. You heard the stories, you heard the thoughts, you heard the approaches. Now it's time to see the action. Breakx Grand Jam 2021 going down tonight, 5 p.m. CST. We'll see you there. Peace.